Yo, what's good, guys? It's Star for Hire here, and I'm bringing you a nice little gameplay here on Grid. We got some domination. Not really too sure how I played the objectives. I was just on a roll, and I know the kill streaks are pretty much suppressing them to the point where they couldn't breathe and they drowned of self-noobiness. So, yeah, this is a pretty decent gameplay here. What I decided is I've got like a fucking folder full of like 30 gameplays. Most of them are probably Dom. So I'm gonna smack you with an onslaught of fucking Dom gameplays over the next probably few weeks. Just to get rid of them because, it's my favorite game type. You'll always see some of them from me. But at the same time, I just wanted to get those out of the way so I can get you some more new content. In this one right here, I'm using the Commando with the red dot sight. I know you guys don't see me use this gun too often, and you guys have recommended me some guns. So, I like using guns. I like when people recommend me guns that aren't completely bullshit. So when somebody comes, hey, use the Mac 11. No, I'm not going to try to go for games and stress myself out over that. Whereas the Commando's a decent gun so decided to get in here. I'm using high kill streaks, unlike my usual games. I believe I have Gunship, Gunner, and Blackbird, or something along those lines. And I just literally just tear buttholes apart in this, and I have some fun. And, I'm playing with a buddy or two, and that's the new thing, is I've been playing with a lot of friends lately. I've been running high streaks. Like right here, I believe I was playing with Candy, and the game before this, I think I go 62-1. This game, I go 53-1. I was on fire that night. I literally got like 15 gameplays back to back. It was like my worst game that night was like a 56-4 or some shit. So, I was on fire that night, and so you'll see a few of those gameplays here coming soon. But one thing I wanted to ask you guys, the topic of today's discussion is, what is one of your childhood hobbies? There are tons of things. I'll go into my childhood, some of the things that I did to have fun when, masturbation became boring. Basically, I started, obviously from my soccer. I was young, started when I was like 5 years old, got injured when I was a teenager, started doing bowling because, all the fucking badass motherfuckers start doing bowling. I had a bad back accident, which is why I've always slept on the floor, and, all this problem, car accident, fucked up my back. So my sporting career was pretty much, just kaput. So then at that point, I did bowling to just, stretch it out there a little bit, at least do something that was fun. And then I, then I went ahead and, and then that's where like, tons of things hit my life. That's where I, got involved in Pokemon, because I had this, bowling league that, and this is where my fucking competitive nature came out, and it was for the purpose of Pokemon cards. I used to spend my allowance and everything on Pokemon cards. I was, obsessed. I had literally all of them, the basic, jungle, fossil. I had every fucking card you can think of. I had complete sets. Like back then, my sets, I would probably had, $10,000-$20,000 in Pokemon cards by just the sets alone. It was fucking beastie. And I've always had a thing with playing the games, but I never collected the cards until I started doing bowling. So this bowling league, but they brought the competitive side out in these kids. These were 12, 13-year-old kids, cutthroat motherfucking kids. You know what I mean? They'd smack you and steal your lunchbox kind of shit. You put Pokemon cards on the line. So this is what it was. You played a game. If you won, your team wins. It was 3-on-3, blah, 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 3-on-3 teams. If your team won, you got a pack of cards. If your team lost, you didn't get a pack of cards. So, this shit was cutthroat. These kids were fucking doing everything. Banana peels on the thing, your mama jokes. This shit was ruthless. And, everybody wanted their Pokemon cards, and I am proud to say we went undefeated that season, man, and I even got a fucking Chansey. It was the only one I needed to complete one of my versions. I got a fucking Chansey, boss, man. It was holographic. It was fat-ass little egg-looking thing. It was amazing. I already had Charizard. That bitch was mine. I had 9 of them bitches, so, Chansey was the only one I needed to complete my basic set for the third set or something. So I was psyched about that. So that was motivation. So, when sports came through, and then I decided to go into bowling, which is a little bit softer. And then at that point, that was pretty much the miss of my childhood. Then I started getting into street games, Chicago basketball. And I'm a white kid. I can't jump for my life. I got a fucking shot like no other. I don't give a fuck who you are. I'll fucking, horse, pig, around the world. We just shooting for shoot. I'm going to beat you every fucking time. I'm just a boss, but I can't play defense to save my life. I was no good at playing basketball, but when it came down to shooting, I was a beast. And that's pretty much the same thing when it came down to football. I've got accuracy like no other. I'm a very, very good quarterback, and I'm a decent build. I'm about 215, 220, about almost 6 foot. I'm not fat. I'm a solid guy with a little bit of fluffiness on the side. And, I found my fun playing street ball. You get fucked up, people breaking noses and shit, beaters torn, weave pulled out, it didn't matter. And then age vary. You have 13-year-olds playing with 30-year-olds. So, street football was my shit, and it was always fun. We'd always have, it was competitive too, because that's where my competitive nature came out. Then we started playing that, and it'd be like street, like literally, like my street, would come out and play another street's team. You know what I mean? It became this weird underground fucking street league where actual people representing their neighborhoods would fucking go out and play. So it'd be my street versus this street versus that street. And it was always fun. It was always entertaining. And, there was always fights. That shit always ended on a fight. Nobody made it. There weren't any quarters. We were just playing for fun. And that shit always got ruined. But, that's where I think my competitive nature came out, is through, Pokemon. And I know it sounds weird. Then I got into sports, and that's pretty much where it came out of. And then I found game battles when I first started Call of Duty, when the World at War. And that's where my other, I guess, peak of it came. But I decided, I found out that I was so competitive and I demand perfection, and people that weren't up to par with me were garbage. I liked playing people that were better than me, which was very rare. And, I became an asshole, just to be completely honest. I demand perfection with that kind of stuff, and that's why I'm trying to do this game battles thing again, is to actually just spark, try to mature. I'm older now. I'm a few years older. I've been through a little bit more shit, and I want to learn to actually control my anger and everything like that, and understand not everybody's perfect, because I'm not. I'm well aware of that, but I just that's where my competitive nature came through. So that's my question for you guys. Where were your hobbies, and what did that lead to, and what did you learn from it, guys? So that's my commentary for the day. Let me know what you think. More gameplays on the way. Check one out tomorrow, guys. Get it.